Daily English Lab, the podcast where real conversations help you speak real English. Hey, English learners, welcome back to Daily English Lab. I'm Lily.
And I'm Henry, and today we're talking about one of the most useful and most avoided skills in the English language.
Saying no.
2 letters, 1 word, enormous difficulty.
For so many people, in so many languages, not just English.
But in English specifically, there's an extra layer of complexity because English has so many ways to be polite, so many softening phrases and indirect expressions, and knowing which ones to use when is a real skill.
Today, we're going to teach you exactly that. How to say no in English. Clearly, politely, without sounding rude, and without feeling guilty.
Because you are allowed to say no, in English and in every language.
Let's get into it.
Lily, why is saying no so difficult, even for people who know the words?
I think it's partly cultural and partly very human. Most people are raised to be helpful, to be available, to not disappoint others.
And saying no feels like the opposite of all of those things.
Exactly. Saying no can feel like saying, "You don't matter to me," or "I don't care about your request," even when that's completely not the intention.
But that's a feeling, not a fact.
Right. A well-delivered no is not unkind. It's actually more respectful than a yes you don't mean.
Because a yes you don't mean leads to resentment, poor quality effort, or quietly disappearing.
Which is far more damaging to a relationship than a clear, honest no.
In English, the challenge is also vocabulary. If you only know how to say no directly, it can come across as blunt or even rude, especially in British or American professional culture, where indirectness is valued.
So the goal today is to give you a range, from gentle to firm, so you can choose the right level for every situation. Henry, are you someone who finds it easy to say no?
Absolutely not. I used to be what you'd call a chronic people pleaser.
Tell me more.
Someone would ask me to do something, help with a project, attend an event, cover for someone at work, and even if I had no time, even if I genuinely didn't want to, I would say yes.
Why?
Because the discomfort of saying no in the moment felt worse than the consequence of saying yes.
Even though the consequence of yes was hours of your time and energy.
Every time. And what made it worse was that I'd say yes, then feel resentful about it, then do the task poorly because I didn't want to be doing it, and then feel guilty about the poor quality. A complete cycle of misery.
All because of one avoided no.
All of it. What changed for me was realizing that saying no is actually an act of honesty. You're telling someone the truth about your capacity, your time, your limits, and that's respectful.
Honesty is a form of respect. I love that reframe.
It changed everything. A no said kindly is far more respectful than a yes said reluctantly. What about you, Lily? How do you say no?
I used to avoid it differently from you. You said yes immediately. I would just delay.
Delay how?
Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Maybe. I need to check my schedule. And then I'd hope the person would forget they asked.
The passive no.
The most exhausting possible option, because the request is still hanging there. The person is still waiting, and you still have the discomfort, just stretched over a longer period of time.
At least my yes resolved it quickly. Your method just prolonged it.
Much worse, honestly. And it's also less respectful to the other person, because they're left waiting for an answer that never clearly comes.
So what did you change?
I started being quicker. Not harsh, but quicker. Because I realized that a gentle no now is kinder than an ambiguous maybe that goes nowhere.
Quick and kind. That's the combination.
Exactly. The kindness is in the tone and the words. The quickness is in making the decision and saying it clearly.
Dear learner, maybe you recognize yourself in one of our stories. Maybe you say yes when you mean no, like Henry used to. Or maybe you delay and avoid, like I used to.
Either way, today we're giving you the actual English phrases to say no politely, clearly, and without damaging your relationships.
There are phrases for work, for friends, for invitations, for favors. A different level of politeness for each situation.
Let's start with the gentlest options and work toward the more direct ones.
The gentlest way to say no in English is to appreciate first, then decline. You acknowledge the request before you refuse it.
What does that look like?
Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I won't be able to make it. Perfect for invitations. You're grateful, but you can't go.
The thank you for thinking of me part softens everything that comes after.
It does. It shows you value the person, even if you can't fulfill the request.
Another gentle one? I really appreciate you asking, but I'm afraid I can't this time.
I'm afraid I can't is very British English and very polite. I'm afraid here doesn't mean scared. It means I'm sorry to tell you this.
That's an important vocabulary point. I'm afraid as a softener before bad news.
I'm afraid I can't help with that. I'm afraid that date doesn't work for me. Soft, warm, polite.
What about when someone asks for your time and you genuinely have none?
I'd love to help, but I'm completely swamped right now. Swamped means overwhelmed with work or tasks, like a swamp pulling you down.
Great vocabulary. I'm swamped is very natural in professional conversations.
You can also say, I'm stretched pretty thin at the moment, meaning your time and energy are spread too far.
Both phrases explain the no without making it personal. It's not about them, it's about your capacity.
What about when gentle isn't quite enough? When someone pushes back or the situation needs more clarity?
Then you step up to what I call the clear but kind level. Still warm, but more definite.
Example?
I appreciate you asking, but that's not something I'm able to commit to. This is clear, there's no ambiguity, but I appreciate you asking keeps the warmth.
Commit to is a strong phrase there. It sounds considered, not reactive.
Exactly. Like you thought about it and made a real decision.
What about that doesn't work for me?
Very useful. Short, clear, not aggressive. I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. No long explanation required.
And you don't always owe an explanation, do you?
You don't. One of the most important things to understand is that a complete sentence is enough. That doesn't work for me is a complete sentence. You don't need to follow it with 3 paragraphs of justification.
Over-explaining can actually make you sound less confident and invite the other person to argue with each reason you give.
Exactly. The more reasons you give, the more they have to push back on. One clean no is more powerful than 5 nervous explanations.
What about in a work context specifically?
I don't have the bandwidth for that right now is very professional. Bandwidth here means mental or time capacity, borrowed from technology.
Very common in professional English. I don't have the bandwidth sounds thoughtful and serious without being rude.
And another good one for work. I'd need to deprioritize something else to take that on, so I'll have to pass for now.
That sentence is brilliant because it shows you understand the workload reality and you've made a considered decision. You're not lazy, you're prioritizing. Big difference.
And when do you need to be more direct, more firm?
When someone keeps pushing after a gentle no, or when the situation involves your personal boundaries, and softness might be misread as openness to negotiation.
Like when someone keeps asking after you've already said no once.
Exactly. In that case, you move to firm, but still respectful.
What does that sound like?
I've already said no, and that's my final answer. Clear, calm, firm. No anger, but no room for negotiation either.
Or something like, I understand you need this, but it's not something I'm willing to do.
The word willing is powerful there. It's a choice, not a limitation. You could do it. You've decided not to.
That's more confident than I can't. Because I can't implies an external limitation. I won't or I'm not willing to implies a decision.
And owning your decision, rather than hiding behind a fake limitation, is actually more honest and more respectful.
I can't come to the party versus I won't be coming to the party. The second is more direct, but also more honest.
And honesty, said with warmth, is never rude.
Let's talk about social situations. Friends, invitations, casual requests, because the language there is different from professional settings.
Much more casual. I'd love to, but I can't make it is perfect for social invitations. Natural, warm, easy.
What if a friend asks you for a favor you don't want to do?
I'm not really in a position to help with that right now. Works well. It's honest about your limitations without going into detail.
And if someone invites you somewhere you really don't want to go?
It's not really my kind of thing, but thank you for the invite. Is honest and kind. You're not pretending to be busy. You're just admitting it's not for you.
That kind of honesty is actually better for friendships than endless excuses.
Because genuine friends don't need you to pretend. They just need you to be kind about it.
And if you want to leave the door open for future plans?
Add, let's plan something another time. Or, can we do something else soon instead? It says no to this, but yes to the relationship.
No to the event, yes to the person. Beautiful distinction.
Let's take today's most useful phrases into the word tour.
Our first phrase is, I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid I can't. This is a polite British English softener for declining something. I'm afraid here means I'm sorry to tell you. You could say, I'm afraid I can't make it to the meeting. Or, I'm afraid that date doesn't work for me.
Our next phrase is swamped. 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 It means completely overwhelmed with work or tasks. You could say, I'd love to help, but I'm completely swamped this week. Or, sorry I didn't reply sooner. I've been swamped.
Our next phrase is bandwidth. 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 In professional English, it means your available time, energy, or mental capacity. You could say, I don't have the bandwidth to take that on right now. Or, do you have the bandwidth to handle one more project?
Our next phrase is commit to. Commit to. Commit to. Commit to. It means to firmly agree to do something or take on a responsibility. You could say, that's not something I'm able to commit to right now. Or, I can't commit to a deadline until I know more details.
Our last phrase is pass for now. Pass for now. Pass for now. pass for now. It means to decline something, usually politely and temporarily. You could say, I'll have to pass for now, but ask me again next month. Or, I'm going to pass for now. I have too much on my plate. 5 phrases. I'm afraid I can't, swamped, bandwidth, commit to, and pass for now. Everything you need to say no politely and professionally in English.
Now it's time to use your English right here. This is Speak with Lily. Say your lines out loud, clearly, calmly, and with confidence.
Someone just asked you to help them with a big project at work this week. You're already too busy. What do you say?
Good. You acknowledged them first and then declined clearly. Now, a friend invites you to a party this weekend. You're tired and you really need to rest. How do you say no kindly?
That was warm and honest. You left the friendship intact. Now, someone keeps pushing after you already said no once. They're asking again. What do you say this time?
That was clear and calm, firm without being aggressive. One more. Your manager asks you to take on an extra task when you're already at full capacity. How do you respond professionally?
That sounded confident and professional. You explained your situation without over-justifying.
Thank you for practicing with me today. Saying no is a skill, and you just practiced it.
So, dear learner, saying no is not rude. Said with the right words and the right tone, it is one of the most honest and respectful things you can do.
You are allowed to have limits. You are allowed to protect your time. You are allowed to decline things that don't work for you.
And now you have the English to do it. Gently, clearly, professionally, and kindly.
Start small. The next time something doesn't work for you, try one of today's phrases instead of a reluctant yes.
One polite no at a time.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your boundaries.
This is Lily.
This is Henry.
And you've been listening to Daily English Lab.
Bye for now.